a second Board of Education meeting. If we could all rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If the district clerk could proceed with the roll call.
Adam Smith,
Present.
Deborah Brooks,
Here.
Emily Bays,
Present.
Adam Block,
Present.
Julie Epstein,
Here.
Rachel Gilliard,
She's tardy.
Nanette Melkonian.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to recess to executive session to discuss personnel matters. Is there a second? And as well as negotiations. I think it's
I second.
all in favor? 6-0. We'll see you in an hour.
Hey, too. Check 2. Hey, 2. Hey, 2. Yeah.
We'd like to start the meeting, if possible.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I feel like I'm a pilot on a big jet airplane here. Good evening. It's nice to see everyone. If we could just take our seats, please, we'd really, really appreciate it. And it's really great to see everyone here this evening.
What are you, professional? I'd like to make a motion to reconvene into public session. Is there a second? Ms. Brooks, all in favor? 7-0. Great. District Clerk, if you could take the roll call.
Yes. Adam Smith,
Present.
Deborah Brooks,
Here.
Emily Bays,
Present.
Adam Block,
Present.
Julie Epstein,
Here.
Rachel Gilliar,
Here.
Nanette Melkonian.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Hines, I believe you have some recognitions.
I do. Boy, we haven't seen this many people at a board meeting in a long time. This is great. Really nice to see. So we have a few things we're going to announce tonight. The first, though, has to do with a very special day, which is today. You know, political and educational leaders began discussions for a day to honor teachers, believe it or not, beginning in 1944. And in 1953, Eleanor Roosevelt persuaded the 81st Congress to proclaim National Teachers' Day, which ironically now is today. How amazing is that? So the National Education Association describes National Teacher Day as a day of honoring teachers and recognizing the lasting contributions they make to our lives. Our kind, our patient, hardworking, dedicated, and understanding Port Washington teachers help mold our children and guide them in very positive directions. We entrust our children with our educators during the school year, and as we know, they play a pivotal role in their lives daily. So we are honoring our Port Washington educators and acknowledge the crucial role they play in shaping America's future with a certificate to be presented to none other than Regina McLean, the president of the Port Washington Teachers Association.
Ms. Gilliar, I believe you have some awards to give out.
I do. So, I'm here to announce some certificates of excellence that the Board of Education would like to present. During the final few days of our April recess, our Weber Science Olympiad academic team headed to Syracuse to compete in the New York State Science Olympiad State Competition, Division B, Middle School. Congratulations to the following Carrie Weber Middle School Science Olympiad team members, they missed the middle name, for earning top finishes in all of New York State. Please join me in honoring the following students, and you can come up and get your certificate as we announce you. Zadia Dahimi.
You should sit and talk. You should sit and talk. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Alyssa Geisler. Vivian Gilliar Smith. Simone Gordon. Jed Michael Millari. Gwyneth Milletta. And Otto Schindler Thompson. Thank you to the Science Olympiad coaches for their support of the students during the competition. And we would also like to recognize these coaches: Carrie Ann Lindstadt, Christopher Buckman, Kelsey Hain, and Irving Tom.
Excuse me. Congratulations to the Weber Science Olympiad team. And Dr. Hines, I believe there's one more recognition.
So, NYSBA, which is the New York State School Board Association, they have a recognition program that acknowledges the extensive time and effort required of school board members who continually strive to expand their knowledge and skills for better board governance. Now, NYSBA members earn points for participating in NYSBA training opportunities, including the annual convention and other regional workshops, for taking on board-related roles. So we have a trustee here, and by the way, you know, I think there's this urban legend or a myth out there that school board members get paid. They don't. They give up all their valuable time and effort and energy to serve our beautiful and wonderful kids, and we very much appreciate them. So Julie Epstein has been awarded the Board Mastery Award, which is 250 points. And that's level 3. Now, you also, Julie, you're receiving one complimentary training ticket on behalf of NYSBA president.
Level 4.
Because level 4 is 500 points, which we know you will reach very soon. So congratulations, Julie, not only for your time and dedication in making the lives of our Port Washington students richer. We owe you a debt of gratitude, and thank you and congratulations. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Hines, and congratulations, Julie, for that accomplishment. Okay. I'd like to make a motion for the adoption of today's agenda, May 2nd, 2023. Is there a second? Ms. Brooks, all in favor? 7-0. The agenda is adopted. On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to take a moment today on National Teachers Day to extend our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to our retiring teachers, as well as a hearty congratulations to our teachers, teacher assistants, and administrators who are being awarded tenure. It is a pleasure to honor the years of hard work, dedication, and commitment you all have given to the students of the Port Washington School District. Your unwavering devotion to education has helped to shape the future of our community and the world. Your influence extends far beyond the classroom and into the lives of the countless children who will carry the lessons they have learned from you into their adult lives. To our retiring teachers, your passion for teaching has inspired and touched so many lives, and for that we are profoundly grateful. The legacy you leave behind is a testament to your dedication to your students and our community. We wish you all the best as you begin this new chapter of your life. Your contribution to our schools will be missed, but the impact you have had on the generations of students will be remembered for years to come. To our teachers, teachers' assistants, and administrators who have been awarded tenure, we recognize and honor the countless hours of hard work and dedication that have led you to this moment. Your commitment to our students is a testament to your unwavering passion for education, and we are proud to have you as part of the team. Once again, congratulations to all of our retiring teachers and those being awarded tenure. We look forward, yes, please. With that note, we look forward to celebrating with you when we recess into our reception. And speaking of the reception, you will notice that tonight's agenda is a little different. This evening, we will be recessing, but not adjourning into the reception immediately following the tenure awards. The board and cabinet will be returning, unfortunately, to resume business within 15 minutes, but the rest of you are welcome to remain in the reception for as long as you want. And with that, we will go right into our report of the superintendent.
Thank you, President Smith. I actually think the newly tenured teachers and administrators and teacher assistants have to stay for the board meeting. That would be no. So I know everyone has been waiting for this. We have Dr. Shields, if you wouldn't mind, with the enrollment report, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hines. We calculated an enrollment report on April 26th. At that time, we had 5,273 students. That's 40 students more than we had at this point last year. And for the Board of Education, I know you're always interested in the incoming kindergarten class. So as of right now, we have 352 enrolled kindergartners for next year. We have a projection of around 370 for next year. So we will continue to give you updates along the way.
Thank you, Dr. Shields. I just have a few things I'd like to say before we move on to what everyone is here for. I would like to actually, the sentiments from our board president, thank you for those sentiments regarding our teachers, administrators, our teacher assistants who are receiving tenure. We are so proud of you. We know how hard you have worked. And most important, we know how much you love our kids. And you can't put a price on that. So thank you. The second thing is for our retirees. I see some of you in the audience. I don't want to get sentimental or misty-eyed. I see Jen, I see Lisa, and I see a few others who are here. Thank you for everything you have done to make the lives of our students better. So a big round of applause for our retirees. Yeah, Jen's always the last to stand up. Unbelievable. Some people, and I really mean this, actually all of you, you can't be replaced. And the mark that you have left with our kids really are for generations to come. The second thing I'd like to briefly talk about, and not to bring the temperature down, but it is important that we understand that it's Mental Health Awareness Month in the month of May. And it's important to observe this, to raise awareness, and to promote the importance of taking care of one's mental health. Millions of people in the United States are affected by this each year, and it's important to measure how common mental illness is and how we can understand its physical, social, and the financial impact on families, and to show that you are not alone. I'm just going to share a few numbers with you because I know each and every one of us in some way is touched by this. 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience some mental health or mental illness each year. 1 in 20 U.S. adults experience serious mental illness each year. And 1 in 6 U.S. youth age 6 to 17 experience a mental health crisis each year. I can go on and on with statistics, and the question becomes, what are we doing about it? How do we really break down as far as the stigma, the negative stigma that's attached to it, And I'm really proud to say that Port Washington is moving in the right direction. We still have a long way to go, but I know we, this board, our teachers, our administrators, take this very seriously. So please don't let this go away tomorrow. We have a whole month to think about what we can do to make the lives better for everybody. So I just wanted to mention that. And the last thing, I know some of us will be very excited to hear this. Ms. Manuel, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a quick update with the transportation app, that would be great. Thank you.
Sure. Actually, we've been working with a beta test at Guggenheim. We've had a lot of glitches with it, but by the end of next week, we should have a meeting with the parents who are actually testing it for us. And then we're hoping, if all goes well with that, possibly in June, we might have the whole school at Guggenheim tested out. So it's been a long road, but we're getting there.
And then, if you don't mind me asking, we're anticipating at the beginning of the school year for next year, come September, that we're looking to roll it out to all our schools. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. We're not sure about how the rollout will go just yet because we don't want to inundate people on the first day of school. So it may be a couple of weeks into the school.
Thank you, Dr. Hines. We're now going to move on to our first opportunity for community comments. As always, if you could please sign in at the podium. Each speaker will be permitted 3 minutes. And do your best to identify your name before you make your statement. And we will do our best to answer any questions at our following BOE meeting. With that.
Pia Ferrante and Kevin Scully.
Hi, everybody. I am Pia Ferrante, and this is Kevin Scully. We are co-presidents of APSA. We just want to take a moment and take the opportunity to congratulate everyone who is getting tenure tonight, including all the teachers, paraprofessionals, and our very own 5 administrators, Kristen Anissis, Kim Liccato, Dale Bennett, Eric Mace, and Beth Javelin. Port Washington is a very special and unique place to work, and we wish each and every one of you a prosperous career here in Port. We would also like to wish all the best to our district retirees. They have put in many years of dedication to the profession, and we wish them all the best in their future endeavors. Congratulations to all.
Barry Javelin.
Good evening. My name's Barry Javelin. I'm Beth's husband, and as I often say, her worst half. For those in the room that know Beth and me, that's so obvious. On behalf of my family, I wanted to talk a little bit about Beth and the type of person she is. Beth is one of the hardest working, ambitious, and caring people you will ever meet. She has succeeded at every step of her career, from math teacher, director of a Math 8+ program, assistant principal, and her current role as principal of Weber Middle School. When she decided to accept the position of Weber prior to the 2019 school year, we all knew 4 years later that she would be here tonight. I want to thank Dr. Hines for recommending her and the board for approving her for tenure. The decision, as far as I'm concerned, is a no-brainer, as Beth was made for this job. In her first year as principal, she encountered, as did the entire world, the COVID pandemic. She met the challenge head-on, adapted on the fly. She had Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting and developed and implemented a solid educational plan. When I compare what Weber was doing and what my boys were experiencing in their school district, it was night and day. Beth hit the ground running and didn't stop. She's an outstanding principal and leader. She can develop a program or come up with an idea, and if 99 people out of 100 like it, she tends to dwell not on the success of the program, but on the one person who didn't like the idea. I often remind her that perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. The Port Washington School District caught excellence with Beth, and the district is very lucky to have her. In addition to being an outstanding principal, Beth's a terrific mom and wife. I always say that I handle the sports and Beth handles everything else. She's the true brains of the operation. When most people get home after a long, hard work day, they just want to crash and relax. That's me. Beth is just getting started. She will help our kids with homework if needed, cook dinner, make their lunches for the next school day, and then attend one of our boys' various sports events at night. She never complains about it, loves doing it, and everything with and for her family. As much as Beth was made to be a principal, she's really at her best when she's taking care of our family. I know some people, when they receive tenure, they hit cruise control. They may not continue to work nearly as hard. I can assure everyone in this room that's never going to happen with her. She only knows one way to do things, and that's by giving 100% every day. This happens when she's off from work or on vacation. She's always in work mode. In closing, I want to say Beth's most beautiful asset is not her head full of knowledge, but a heart full of love, an ear ready to listen, and a hand willing to help others. Thank you.
Jessica Melwani and Sarah Klein.
Hi, I'm Sarah Klein, and this is Jessica Melwani. On behalf of the Parents Council, we'd like to congratulate all of the teachers, teaching assistants, building, and district administrators being awarded tenure tonight. To be recognized and welcomed into a school community in this way is an important milestone at any stage of one's career, and the honor is well deserved. We hope you have found a professional home in Port Washington schools and look forward to seeing our children thrive under your care and instruction. And to all of our district's dedicated, creative, and inspiring educators on this National Teachers Day, we say thank you. The role you play in helping our children grow and achieve their fullest potential is critical, and we are grateful for your commitment and partnership. We would also like to recognize tonight's retirees, some of whom have taught our children and us over their many years in this district. While it is always bittersweet to see a beloved educator retire, we celebrate the next chapter with you all. Know that your hard work in our schools has changed the lives of so many students and families.
And on that note, we'd like to say just a few special words of gratitude as we celebrate the retirement of Jen Biblowitz. In her work as elementary school counseling leader, Jen has been an extraordinary partner to Parents Council. Without her leadership and commitment to serving Port Washington students, many of the outreach initiatives Parents Council embarked on in recent years would not have been possible. While Sousa students and families have been lucky to have her in their corner all these years, our whole school community is better for her work. We know that in whatever endeavors come next, Jen will continue to be a powerful voice for children, families, mental health, and wellness. To all of tonight's tenure recipients and retirees, congratulations, and to all of our educators, thank you. We are grateful for your partnership, for your belief in our kids, and your dedication to their growth.
Sarah Cobb.
Hello, Sarah Kolb here on behalf of Guggenheim HSA. I'm thrilled to be here today on behalf of Guggenheim HSA and as a parent to congratulate Dr. Licato, Mrs. Perrone, and Mrs. Daskas on receiving tenure this evening. It is a great honor and evidence of not only hard work, but of your passion and love for our children. Mrs. Perrone and Mrs. Daskas are often the first people you see at Guggenheim when dropping children off for the day. They greet each child with a smile and sincere warmth. Their enthusiasm and positivity make Guggenheim a truly special place. I don't think we get to say it nearly enough, but thank you for making Guggenheim a place where children are eager to come to school, and thank you for being truly inspiring teachers to our children. As I thought about writing a few words to congratulate Dr. Licato on receiving tenure, I found myself wondering where to start. My children have been in her care their entire time in elementary school. I have worked closely with her for many of those years, and there are so many good things to say. I have found over time that children sometimes say things much more simplistic, so I asked my 3 children, how would you describe Dr. Licato? 2 of the 3 are here today. The results were in quick. In their words, Dr. Licato is nice, helpful, smart, respectful, thoughtful, kind, hardworking, and fair. And among my twins, who never agree on anything, there was duplication of the words respectful and thoughtful. And that struck me as particularly interesting because those are words you typically hear an adult use to describe a child in a school setting. As in, this child is respectful towards their teachers, or they are thoughtful and considerate of their classmates. And when I thought on that, the kids really did summarize exactly what I wanted to say. Dr. Liccato treats the children with the utmost respect, thought, and care. She listens to them. They feel heard and understood by her. They know that even if they make a mistake or have done something out of character, she will hear them out and help them resolve the issue. They feel comfortable speaking to her because she is always interacting with them. She is not the type of principal to sit behind a desk. She is often out for a hike, having lunch with a student, or talking to a child that is having a hard time. As a parent, I feel so happy knowing that Dr. Liccato is the leader of the school where my children are. I know that her focus is always on the best interests of the children, and she has demonstrated that to me time and time again. It has been a pleasure working by her side. She has been a fantastic partner to the HSA. She is never afraid to start a new program or bring a new opportunity to the children. She has worked hard to make Guggenheim not only a place where kindness and respect matter, but she has built a community of past, current, and future Googies who will make this world a better place. This year's fifth graders will mark the first group that have learned and grown completely under her leadership from the beginning of their elementary career. And although I am biased because I know many of these wonderful fifth graders all too well, I am certain that they possess many fine characteristics from their time at Guggenheim that are due to the wonderful community of educators and staff led by Dr. Liccato. In the words of the children, she has been nice, helpful, smart, respectful, thoughtful, hardworking, and kind. And I look forward to her continued leadership over the years at Guggenheim. So congratulations. Thank you.
Sue Hershkowitz and Lauren Edwards.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sue Hershkowitz, and I am the president of the F Foundation, and with me is Lauren Edwards, our executive vice president. We just wanted to take a moment to show our appreciation and gratitude to our retirees and those receiving tenure tonight. As an organization, our mission has and always will be to provide exceptional educational experience to our students, but there cannot be any exceptional experiences without exceptional educators. There would be no Ed Foundation without the innovative ideas that come from our teachers, administrators, and other district staff. Year after year, it amazes us how a small idea can turn into a program that has a lifelong impact on our kids. We wish all of our retirees much health and happiness as they transition into the next phase of life. We cannot thank you enough for your years of tireless service and devotion. To our newly tenured teachers, we congratulate you on the hard work and commitment that has brought you here tonight. We look forward to working with you to help make the Port schools the very best they can be. And we also would like to show our appreciation to all the teachers today on this National Teachers Day. Thank you.
No more community comments.
Thank you to everybody who spoke. And I believe now we're going to move right into the... Oh, you want to do that first? Yes, so we're going to move right into our award of tenure and retiree recipients. But I'm going to start with making a motion. So I'm going to make a motion, if I could also have a second after I make it. But the motion is, be it resolved that the Board of Education, on the recommendation of the superintendent, awards tenure to the following individuals. And those individuals are written here and will be read shortly by our administrators. So do I have a second for that motion? Ms. Bays, all in favor? 7-0. So the tenure awards are awarded, and with that, Dr. Shields.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Smith, and the entire Board of Education. Tonight, we would like to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments of our staff that are receiving tenure either tonight or at some other point in the year, and also to those educators that have decided to retire from the school district. Receiving tenure is an accomplishment for administrators, teachers, and teaching assistants that marks the conclusion of an intense probationary period of time. This year, we've had 30 educators receive tenure. I will call each of them one at a time to receive a flower from the district. Applause are, of course, welcome. After each group is called, they should meet in the lobby for a picture with Shannon Boulin. The administrators, we will be taking our picture just prior to the reception that's taking place next door. Dr. Hines, I will let you begin by recognizing the district-wide administrators.
Well, thank you, Dr. Shields. Could you imagine if every board meeting was like this? How nice would that be?
We have to do this tomorrow.
We do. So before I read that, Dr. Shields, I just want to say to those of you who are receiving tenure, I started with you almost 4 years ago. So we came into this together, not knowing what would happen over the next 4 years. And for that, I just want to thank you. I can't tell you how, well, I am telling you. I am so proud of you. I'm very proud of you. I'm going to start with the two district-wide administrators. Dale Bennett, congratulations. Come on down. All right. So I do not want to embarrass this next individual, but actually I do. And he's standing actually to my left. Dr. Chris Shields, I've had the pleasure, the absolute pleasure and honor of working alongside Chris for like I said, the past 4 years. Those of you who know Chris know that he's not only a steady hand, but the integrity, just how much he cares about his staff and the kids is really second to none. So congratulations, Chris Shields. I am so thankful you are here.
Thank you very much. All right. So I will now call by school the administrators. For Guggenheim Elementary School, Dr. Kimberly Liccato. Weber Middle School's principal, Beth Javelin. And also from Weber Middle School, Assistant Principal, Dr. Eric Mace. And from Schreiber, Assistant Principal Kristen Anesis. All right, moving on to the teachers from Daly Elementary School, Elise Kreis. And also from Daly, Tyler Mason Draffin. And in a district-wide role, Anne Marie Donovan. Also in a district-wide role, Safak Azut. And from Manor Haven Elementary School, Michael King. And from Salem, Dr. Marlene Ruskin. And from Schreiber High School, Christina Bruno. From Schreiber High School, Gennaro Fontano. Also from Schreiber, Gabrielle Corey. And from Schreiber, Nicole Lapinto. Also from Schreiber, Jessica McGrath. From Sousa Elementary School, Alexandra Semino. From Sousa Elementary School, Megan Murphy. From Weber Middle School, Kimberly Caracciolo. And from Weber Middle School, Daniela Venegas. Okay, so the teachers who were just called forward, those can go to the lobby and have their picture taken by Ms. Voolen. We're going to move on to teaching assistants. From Daly, Marielos Garcia. From Guggenheim, Ann Daskus. And also from Guggenheim, Lisa Perrone. From Manor Haven Elementary School, Leslie Ferrero. Also from Manor Haven, Cara Vittoriti. And from Sousa, Heather Hurt. And from Sousa, Andrea Walsh. From Weber Middle School, Jody David. And also from Weber Middle School, Lauren Moore Mateo. All right, the next part of our program is to recognize our retiring educators. They've been committed to our students, colleagues, and community for much of their careers, and we thank them. I will call each of them up individually, and they will receive a flower and a plaque from the school district. After all 7 of them are called, they can meet in the lobby for a picture with Ms. Voolen as well. From Guggenheim, Daphne Harkins. From Manor Haven, Lisa Idle. From Sousa, Jen Biblowitz. Also from Sousa, Janet Moser. From Schreiber, Julianne Barbieri. Also from Schreiber, Renee McLean. And from Weber, Elizabeth Hutchinson. Okay, I'll remind them. Congratulations, Liz. Of course. Congratulations. Just a reminder, if the teaching assistants that were called up can go to the lobby, and also the retirees to the lobby as well, that'd be appreciated. So in a few moments, we will have a reception for all tenure recipients, retirees, and their guests in the cafeteria. We would like to thank the Education Foundation for co-sponsoring this reception with the district. Their generosity and commitment to the district is greatly appreciated. I would also like to thank Cindy Lister and Jackie Pasco in my office for their work behind the scenes to make this evening run so smoothly. I will turn the meeting back over to our board president, Mr. Smith, for a motion to recess to the tenure reception.
Before we make that motion to recess, I understand that there may be one or two more parties who wanted to say something. So if those people are here, we're going to give you an opportunity to speak right now, please. Give us 1 second to turn it on. That Senator there is fine.
Thank you for accommodating this last-minute entry. I'm Amy Snortland here representing Weber HSA, and I have 4 words to say about Beth Javelin. Beth, boss, effective, trustworthy, honest. That's all.
Okay, so now we're about to make our motion to recess to the reception. We will be back here as a board in about 15 minutes. So it's 8:30, so we'll reconvene at approximately 8:45. So I'm going to make the motion now. I'm going to make a motion if we could recess to the reception. Ms. Brooks is a second. All in favor, 7-0. Okay, we'll see you at 8:45. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your fruit and coffee. Congratulations again to our retirees and tenure recipients. I would like to make a motion to reconvene in public session. Is there a second? Ms. Brooks, all in favor? 7-0, we are reconvened. District Clerk, with the roll call, please.
Yes. Adam Smith,
Present.
Deborah Brooks. Here. Emily Bays,
Present.
Adam Block,
Present.
Julie Epstein,
Here.
Rachel Gilliar,
Here.
Nanette Melkonian.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So our first discussion item today is actually our budget hearing. This is the opportunity for the community to be heard regarding the budget that was adopted by the Board of Education at our previous meeting. So at this point, we will open up to any community members who want to. I don't think, do you want to give the presentation? I don't think we need to. We certainly can. Do you want it, Dr. Hyde? I don't think so. Okay, then we'll do the presentation.
Thank you, President Smith. So this will be brief because we have gone into such depth over the last 5 meetings. But we just wanted to present the budget one last time in a simple format. So the most important numbers are the expenditure numbers and the tax levy. This will be proposition number 1. Voters will be asked to vote on the budget of $184,265,295, which is an increase of 5.39% over last year. The tax levy is below the allowable limit at 2.63%, so this requires a simple majority vote. As discussed in previous meetings, these are all of the positions that have been funded through this budget. It is a very student-focused budget. These are the other items that are presented in the budget. It provides additional funds to purchase playground equipment, additional funds for clubs, field trips, and student classroom supplies, furniture for new construction and STEAM rooms, Wi-Fi for outdoor learning spaces, and it came up at one of the budget presentations that we were doing. There were questions as to the Wi-Fi in the actual buildings. Why would we focus on the outside if the inside kind of needs some attention? Mr. Maloney had presented a couple of months ago a big presentation about the technology department, and he does have a plan to, for the 23-24 year, we'll be addressing issues at the high school and at the middle school, refreshing the Wi-Fi there and also putting additional switches in. And then for the 24-25 year, he has slotted to address issues at the elementary school Wi-Fi. It also has funding for cultural arts programs, expanding both the Twilight program and the ACA Ed program, which are BOCES programs run at the high school. Our transfer to capital has for partial roof repair at Daly and Salem elementary schools, and also provides for repairs and upgrades to bathrooms and flooring district-wide. Presenting the budget in a 3-part format, you can see this is very similar to last year. Our administrative is 9% of the budget, program represents 77% of the budget, and capital is 14% of the budget. This is a graphic showing the expenditures of the district. You can see that about 70% are related to salaries and benefits, which makes sense because we are very focused on our students, and as we know, salaries account for much of that. These are the projected revenues, and you can see that property taxes account for about 84% of our revenues, offset by about 10% of state aid. We did actually receive state aid runs this morning, very similar to what the governor had proposed, only about $800 difference, so. And you can also see we have pilots, which are about 3.4% of our revenue. These are payments in lieu of taxes. So just to summarize, with a tax levy increase of 2.63%, the draft budget of $184,265,295 is below the tax levy limit. Our annual budget vote and school board election will be Tuesday, May 16th, from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the Weber Middle School all-purpose room. We encourage people to vote. We have two trustees who are up for re-election. They are running unopposed, so sometimes we have complacency that can take place. So we do want to encourage people to get out and vote, and encourage all of your friends and family to get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Manuel. Okay, we will now open up for the community to be heard on the budget. We did receive an email that will answer. You have a question?
I have a question, and I've been meaning to ask this, and I keep forgetting. Where do grants fall into the pie chart of projected revenues? Do they have a place? Are they under miscellaneous?
No, well, the community is asked to vote on the general fund budget, so
Yeah.
we raise taxes.
My bad, yes, of course. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So with that, we will move on to our next item, which Dr. Hines, I'll give you the floor.
Great. Thank you, Kathy, for that presentation. Dr. Bear, if you wouldn't mind, she's going to make her way up here to talk about some of the new courses we are introducing for the next school year. For those who are watching virtually, if you can't see this presentation, you can access it on our website, so you can follow along. So without further ado, Dr. Bear, whenever you're ready.
Good evening. Tonight we'll talk about the 2023-2024 courses that we'll be offering at Schreiber. We have 274 courses that will be offered from 15 departments. We're looking at CTE credits, including 38 courses over 3 departments, such as facts, technology, and business. We also have 7 departments offering AP courses, leading to 31 exams. So you see the difference in the number of courses and exams because we do have 2 courses which you would take both exams, such as economics and physics C. We also have a number of dual enrollment courses in 4 of our departments with the following institutions: LIU Post, St. John's, Carnegie Mellon, SUNY Farmingdale, and SUNY Oneonta. These are great opportunities for our high school students to earn college credit. When we look at offering new courses, we have a number of considerations. We really conduct that needs assessment to see how we prepare students for the new course and where will they go next. And does the enrollment in associated courses really match the interest level of the students in what we're looking at in the course requests? We also want to look at college and career readiness, so we're preparing students for their life beyond high school. In addition to that, obviously, we have to look at a number of factors, including staffing, knowing that we have a teacher available to teach the course, a classroom for the course to exist in, and then it has to fit within our master schedule. The process for proposing new courses begins early in the school year. So in the early fall, we began talking about where there's an opportunity to propose a new course. That presentation goes to the Schreiber-based curriculum committee to look at a number of factors that we had discussed previously to see if there really is a need and an interest level with the students. In early winter, if the course is approved, we update the catalog of courses available for students, and teachers will enter recommendations. In late winter, students are able to request those courses through our student information system, and they engage in meetings with their counselors. In the spring, we review the tallies for each of the course requests and look at the number of sections that we'll run. And right now, we're working on the master schedule. Our new courses. We have 8 offerings. 6 of them will be full-year courses that offer 1 credit. We have 2 courses that will be semester courses and offer a half credit. They fit into the graduation requirements as either electives or a graduation requirement. And you'll see that our local requirement is the senior experience. There are 3 courses that would qualify as a senior experience. One of those could also be taken just as an elective, and that's where you see 5 electives. We also have 3 new dual enrollment courses where students can earn college credit. 2 of those are related to brand new courses, and one of them is connected with a previously existing course, but it's a new dual enrollment option to earn college credit. We have 2 business courses that were recommended to run for next year. This first one is part of the local graduation requirement senior experience, and it includes an internship, really aiming to connect students with local businesses to maximize the resources within our incredible community. We also have a Principles of Corporate Finance, which is an honors level course, and this is a way that students can continue to participate in the business program, really extending the sequence of courses that they've taken and applying their prior learning in more of a real-world setting. With these 2 classes, the opportunity to add the new course to our catalog was looking at the need, and it corresponds with the hands-on experience and the application of learning. In English, we are introducing an English 10 honors course. This will fulfill the sophomore year English requirement, and it's really dedicated to permitting students to go deeper and into more substantive material and better prepare students for their 8th grade AP option, which is AP Language and Composition. This course is really bridging the gap between a 9th grade, more introductory to high school level course and preparing students for 11th grade APs and 12th grade APs. It really gives students an opportunity to engage in that coursework and gives them more time to prepare as they go from 9th grade into 11th grade. Computer science falls under the mathematics department. This is a full year course. In the fall of 2022, in the Schreiber Times, there was an article that said, should Schreiber High School have a 3rd computer science course? With the consistent number of requests for computer science principles and computer science A, there was definitely a need to expand how students can engage in computer science, and we see that interest in the course request this year. We have 2 courses that were offered in social studies, the first of which is African American history. This course is not yet tied to the AP exam. It is a single semester course that would be Schreiber-based in curriculum, and it really aims to highlight the many contributions and explore the challenges faced by African Americans in the North American history. We also have a sports broadcasting and information course that was proposed, and this is an expansion of the work done by clubs and who I will call freelancers, students who go to many games, are broadcasting, creating media packages, and doing much of this work on their own. So this was an opportunity to really formalize that process and expand on the learning. With these 2 areas, we were thrilled that for the African American Studies course, it was a course proposed by a student, and it was proposed in collaboration with the Social Studies Department. And for the sports broadcasting, Nick Schratweiser talked about the incredible work that the students are doing and how we've had alumni go on into broadcasting, including one who went on to Penn State and was calling games, football games, as a sophomore, which is absolutely incredible. So we're building on that extraordinary work. We have printmaking, which is a course in visual and media arts. This is a great way to expand the offerings in the areas of the arts, and this was such a popular unit in our foundations and studio class that is now expanded to a semester-long course. This is yet another way that our students can get 5 credits in the arts to create that 4+1 pathway, or to get a sequence required for an advanced Regents diploma. The last course is in the World Language Department. This is another senior experience course that is tied directly within world language, multicultural and comparative language film study. It's designed to develop cultural interest and openness to new ideas. The excitement about this course is that you do not need experience with a particular language because it's an overview of many ways that you can look to film, media, and language to understand more about a culture and really promotes inclusivity. Next year, we are moving away from the honors project in the humanities in 9th grade and 10th grade in English class. The honors project had become a watered down version of what it was originally intended to be. In 9th grade, we're focusing on the in-course work where we're developing skills and helping students to synthesize increasingly complex material. We recognize that there is an interest in the humanities, and we have a number of extracurricular activities where students can engage deeper in the humanities in 9th grade and beyond. When we looked at what the honors project had become, it is an entirely independent project outside of the classroom. So by bringing a 10th grade honors course in English, students can really collaborate and engage in and delve into deeper work within the classroom setting and maintain that integrity of the honors label. When we were making this important decision about the honors project, we did start early in the year and had a number of conversations with people involved, whether we're talking about at the curricular level, within the building, in the departments, and certainly with central office. So during that collaboration, we talked about how we can best meet the needs of students. We brought the proposal to Dr. Feeney as the assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction and assessment. When we had a decision about the path forward, we did communicate that with the stakeholders who are involved, and we did have a presentation with the community for rising 9th graders and rising 10th graders to make sure that the families were really aware of these new offerings and had a chance to interact with us and ask any questions. Looking ahead, we are really finding ways to support our students, create opportunities to engage in really exciting and new coursework, and challenge students at all levels. So whether we have someone who is very interested in pursuing education at the most challenging level, someone who is in the middle range where they are excited by some of the challenges but do not need to be overwhelmed, or students who need additional support to demonstrate proficiency, we're looking to meet all of their needs as much as we can through a broad and wide course offering. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Beck. Do any trustees have questions? We're going to start, let's start at this end.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
No, this end. Let's start with Dr.
sorry.
Buck, and we'll work our way in.
No, thank you, no questions.
Great. Now you're up. Well, now he's clear.
Thank you, and thank you for everyone who's here and listening. You kind of touched on my question, and really my only question as a Board of Education trustee is all these changes, is there proper staffing in place, and is there, I guess, professional, some of these courses, for instance, African American History Studies is brand new. Do we have the proper professional development in place for the staff to be prepared to teach that course? That's my only.
Those are great questions. So the first one would be, when we look to offer new courses, we have a pool of students who we need to fill their schedule. So if they are selecting one course, it means they're not selecting another. So that may come into the master schedule of deciding which classes are running. Perhaps we need to do an every other year cycle, and we wouldn't offer every course every year. So that's one way we look at staffing. And as far as professional development, we've offered a plethora of professional development this year, which is so incredible with the support of central office, to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our teachers, especially as we have new framework in our social studies department and the next generation standards in other departments that we're rolling out. So over the summer, we're looking to do curriculum work for any of the new courses and any courses that need a revision to the curriculum.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for taking the I guess, the student voices into consideration in many of these classes. As I was listening, it was in response to students, and I appreciate that. I have a different view of the board's role in curriculum. There are several statutes that give the board the authority to, or actually the mandate to oversee curriculum, and I won't go into that legal stuff, so my view is more expansive. So I want to start with the things I love about this, and then those people who know me know exactly what I'm going to say about what I don't love. I love the idea of internships and partnering with community members. I've been waiting for that for years and years and years and years, first as a parent and now as a board member. I didn't stop being a parent, but in my role as a board member, I love the practical application. I think that the opportunity for our students to learn real-life skills in real-life situations is phenomenal, and so I thank you for that and for looking into that. I appreciate the fact that you were responding to a need to expand computer science offerings. Clearly, it's something that students here love and they want more of, and the real-world application is begging for it as well, so I appreciate that. I think that sets the students up for success later on, whether they decide to pursue computer science or not. So I'm happy to see having lived through it, not only with my daughter who's now in college, but her peers. I've been a wide variety of peers over the 4 years that she was in school. I lived through the English honors program and the social studies honors program, and in air quotes, in 9th and 10th grades. I applaud the desire to look into it and to say, this is not what an honors program should be. I appreciate that, however. I do believe, from having grown up through this, watching these children, that there is a group of students who would greatly benefit from a meaningful honors, and I understand that you've got doctor in front of you. I understand all of that, I do. But I'm speaking for students who aren't here, and I actually wanted to ask that question. And so I'm perplexed, given the honors programs that we start basically for some students in 6th grade with math, in 7th grade with math, in 8th grade with math and science, and on up. Why the 9th grade students who are capable of doing this work, who are begging for this work, just like the students who want to do the computer science or the printmaking or any of the other things, why this group of students is not being considered? I don't know if they were part of the conversation, as part of the stakeholders, but, and I understand this is your recommendation, but I'm simply saying that it's difficult for me to accept that there's a group of students that will not be serviced in terms of the work that they really can do and want to do, and that they shouldn't have to go to extracurriculars to do it, both in social studies and English. So I'm saying that, I'm putting it out there, I'm letting you know my thoughts, and I will move on.
No question there? Okay, great. Let's go to the other end and go to Ms. Malconi and then work our way in. Mixing it up.
You guys don't have to switch it up. Well, you're making me follow Deb. Like, that's not fair. Okay, anyway. So I think Deb stated a lot of the real questions and concerns. But let me start with thank you for looking at our programming, and thank you for taking the deep dive and seeing where we could grow. That's always my word, and my focus. So what Schreiber's always been special about is, well, there's lots of reasons it's special, but one of them is we offer such a wonderful array of electives that really allow the kids to explore their interests, maybe something they're not interested in, and then it sparks something. So I love the opportunities that this district has always really nurtured at the high school level for our students. So thank you for all of the electives that you've contributed to the selection. I will also ask to understand the thought process of where you think the district should be going. If you have a long-term vision, it's not clear where the disconnect is between our math, science choices and opportunities versus our humanities opportunities. So as a board member and as a parent who has also experienced this, I would like to, I trust Dr. Feeney, I trust you. I would like to understand the journey that you're taking us on, because we'd like to know how these specific students, advanced learners in the humanities, can have their academic needs met. So.
Perhaps I can take this,
Sure.
Dr. Bear. So I think both of these questions speak to the concern, look at math, science, look at mathematics, look at science, look at what the students have in the middle school. Why can't we continue something similar in humanities? Just a couple of things. Schreiber is, of course, really, I don't want to say constrained, but they need to continue the work in the mathematics and science programs that students started in the middle school. So that's where we are right now, and that's how Schreiber needs to continue. So if there were accelerated or honors that started in the middle school, Schreiber, we're at a place right now where we will continue that. We've got to continue with that cohort. For English and English honors, I dare say that next year, with the elimination of the honors projects and the beginning of our English 10 honors class at Schreiber, I am confident that more students at Schreiber in the 9th and 10th grade combined, even though there will be no 9th grade honors, will have an honors level experience, a true honors level experience than what we've had, for the past several years. This will be more students will have an enriched, worthwhile experience. That happens in 10th grade. What's going to happen in 9th grade, as Dr. Bear has mentioned, is more students will be prepared. Those who come in stronger in the humanities than others will be with kids who, maybe have other interests or maybe are stronger in the mathematics, but in a heterogeneous setting, we'll be able to prepare through skills, through discussion, through reading, making sure all of our students have a core, that core knowledge and core skill set. More students will be prepared for worthwhile, enriching honors work in the humanities when they get to 10th grade. Of the new courses that were offered, we've got 2 new courses in social studies. We've got 1 new course being offered in English, 1 new course in the arts. We have 1 in math science, 2 in business. Humanities is something that we are not neglecting at Schreiber. And this is not a story that has a sort of 1-year chapter, right? This is an ongoing process. Across the district, a lot of our attention is being spent on the humanities, on reading, on writing at the elementary school, across all 5 elementaries, and that work's going to continue in the years ahead. So we have an opportunity to, I think, do something really special with 9th and 10th grade English. Those 10th grade English honors students will have an experience analogous to what they've had for many years in social studies. And this is just the first chapter, I think, of a long process as we continue to look at the offerings, meet the needs of our students, and make sure all of our students are prepared for the most challenging work they can do. I don't know if that helps.
Ms. Maloney? Is that it? No more questions? Okay.
Okay.
thank you for this presentation. And I'm actually going to thank Dr. Feeney for your explanation that you just gave. But I'm going to just push it a smidge as a greater expansion because I'm excited. I want to see the end of the chapter, right? The end of the book. First of all, I want to applaud. You've been here for not even an entire year, Dr. Baer, and you and also Dr. Feeney have taken the time with the curriculum department at Schreiber to really look and try to affect some change in our curriculum. So for that, I really applaud. And you do have to start somewhere, right? And when you start somewhere, certain things are compromised. And to your point, Dr. Feeney, they are a bit constrained because there is nothing offered at the middle school level. The real little push that I have is that I think that instead of the focus being on an honors program for English, is an expansion of humanities, right? Making sure that all of our students that really thrive in skills for humanities have all of the opportunities that they can have. And the only part that I didn't hear you mention, Dr. Feeney, was you talked about expansion at the elementary level. We see that we're only on chapter 1 at the high school level to help make these stronger students. But I'm hoping we're looking at the middle school so that we don't have to find ourselves constrained, and then we can grow to those next chapters at the high school and provide that more enriched experience. And I know you're going to answer me in a positive way, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm giving you that opportunity. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, this is a multi-chapter book. We're not going to give all the chapters all at once. The work that Ms. Javelin and her team have been doing in the middle school, it's been remarkable. And she's impacting the opportunities our kids have there, and we will see the impact of that in the years ahead. We'll continue to work with her team, as we work with the elementary school. Those kids come up. This will look very different in the years ahead. I'm fully confident of that. We'll have students who are more prepared at all grade levels. We'll have students who are able to challenge themselves at harder work at all grade levels, and we'll be meeting their needs as they move along.
Thank you. And two last comments. I want to appreciate also from a budgetary standpoint that you look forward into the educational opportunities and professional development, and even going so far as to address it over the summer months so that our staff is prepared and getting the necessary development, whether it's professional, whether it's additional education, whatever they need. I appreciate that you've looked out for them on that. And again, to all of you that have really taken student voice into this, going back and quoting a Schreiber paper from last year, I think, or earlier in the year, kudos to you on that and listening to the students, because I think that's really what we've tried to accomplish this year. So I appreciate you looking forward into our vision, mission, and portrait of a graduate.
Ms. Gilia?
Thank you for the presentation. So I had a lot of thoughts and trying to organize them. I had a professor in college who was a mentor to me, and at some point, years after, I wrote to her, I talked to her, and she responded to me and she said, oh, my grandmother used to call this kind of correspondence a yay boo letter. Like, it's got the good and it's got the bad. This update to me is a little bit of a yay boo, mostly yay. So I want to start with that. I think that this update shows a lot of innovation and growth in our curriculum, and I think that's who we want to be as a district now, who our administration wants to be as a district, who our parents want us to be, who our teachers are reaching for us to be, and I think that's amazing. The other thing that I see here between all the lines is a lot of listening to parents and students and a lot of collaboration with the staff to make those things reality, and I think that's fantastic, and I really want to highlight it and applaud it. I see that when you talk about having a true 10th grade honors class, something parents have been talking about and begging for, and students too, for years. But I also hear it when you talk about having an African American studies class. I hear it when you talk about expanding our computer science offerings. There's a lot of responsiveness and a lot of amazing work by our staff that went into all of this. The boo for me, actually before I'm going to say that, I want to couch this as saying, first of all, I'm thrilled with all of this. And I'm so excited that so much has happened in really a very short time for two relatively fresh to Port Washington administrators. And I know, Dr. Hines, you have a lot to do with this as well. And I have a lot of respect for both of you, which makes it difficult for me to question you too. So I just want to make it clear, I really respect you. And I thank you for coming and talking to us honestly about this. So that said, for me, the 9th grade honors English decision troubles me because of the disconnect we have between our STEM offerings and our humanities offerings here at this point, and I would love to see that rectified. But I think that it's important to couch why it bothers me. And I think it's because I really believe, as I know, by the way, both of you do, in challenging every student where they are. Because I believe in that, I believe in honors and acceleration, because I think that when we do that, we are serving the needs of some of our students. And by the way, not a small minority of our students. You know, for example, I think we have 7 sections of earth science running right now in the 8th grade class. It's a lot of students that we're accelerating, and that's fantastic. Because the other piece of me believing in honors and acceleration is that I really do think gates should be flexible. It's hard to evaluate students. Sometimes mistakes are made. I love that at Schreiber we do allow children to opt into what they want to do. I think it's an important ideal. And so I understand where you're both coming from when you say you want more children to have access to things. I think that that's a good ideal. But I think that if a child has an aptitude and a passion, they should be able to pursue that here. And right now, if a child has an aptitude or a passion for math and science, they can start pursuing it in 7th or 8th grade, and they can push forward. And to not have that happen in English until 10th grade, I think we're missing an opportunity there. I think sometimes these things can be cast as a negative, but I really think that honors and acceleration done well, to me, and I think to both of you, is not a matter of some sneetches have stars upon bars. It's that the honors designation indicates what we are trying to offer, which is a course that some students are ready for. And maybe not everybody is, but we offer many, many programs in this district that are not for every student. I would say it's probably safe to say every program is not for exactly every student, but we offer them. And so I'm hoping that the direction that we are heading in is doing this. All of that said, I have 2 questions. One, I know we do a lot of standardized testing on our students. One of the tests that's done for many of our grades is the NWA assessment. And the students are given a Lexile range as a result of that test. And I don't know what the numbers are, but I know we have students who are probably reading at a college and graduate level in 9th grade. When you talk about taking 9th grade to do more skill development, was the testing that has already been done in the district taken into account in looking at that and in thinking about whether we have a population who's ready for 9th grade honors English?
When we were looking at that decision, we were looking at their performance in a 9th grade English class. So not necessarily on, I know that's not considered an entrance exam, but calling that a rating of where the students would fall. So we were talking to the English department and the chairperson about how we can help support the literary analysis skills, things that are taken into consideration when we talk about a 3-year cumulative Regents exam. So that's where the decision came from, not a data point from the NWEA, if that makes sense.
So I think that I hear you answering my question, that it's not that we think there is some deficit in the students entering 9th grade that we have to rectify in order to do honors English down the line. That's not what we mean by skill development.
Skill development would be related to where they're coming in and where they need to go. It's not that our students aren't prepared for ninth grade, but there is a big jump from middle school to high school, not just in Port Washington, but everywhere. So looking at the writing skills and the synthesis skills that students really need to be successful as they have increasingly complex material, that's where we're looking at giving students more time when they're in ninth grade to settle into those skills, develop those skills, and then have a larger on-ramp when students are entering 10th grade to say that more students are ready for that next step. And then my hope would be that we have even more students who are ready for AP language and composition when we're in 11th grade. One of the challenges when we have honors and a sort of de facto tracking earlier on, it leaves us fewer entry points for students to access if they mature a little bit later. So in the humanities, we do have more of an option to differentiate in the classroom because we can do that within the same content, as opposed to if someone already completed Algebra 1, we can't have them in Algebra 1 again and kind of do geometry. They would be progressing to the next course. So that was all factored into the decision-making process.
Doesn't that same difference in the humanities also, though, allow you to have different kinds of on-ramps?
Say that one more time.
I mean, look, I 100% think that whenever a child shows or wants to work harder, delve deeper, we should be facilitating that. I guess what I'm asking is, we could theoretically be having people join an honors English class at any year, right? Because it doesn't build the way say mathematics does, right?
We certainly could philosophically, but what tends to happen is that when students see themselves as I'm an honor student, I'm an AP student, or I'm not, there's a mindset that gets tracked into where the students start selecting classes and where they see themselves. So it's more the practical application and trying to provide those avenues in a more concrete way, saying by 10th grade, look at all of this progress that you've made. You can try honors. Doesn't mean that everybody gets an A+, but it means that they are interested in those richer texts, the more complex texts. So that's where we're looking at that 10th grade as the entry point at this current time.
Okay. I guess, sorry.
If I could just add in the meantime, of course, the beauty of a well-constructed and well-delivered humanities course is that there's a variety of instruction at all levels going on within the classroom. In many ways, it's a little easier to differentiate within the humanities than it might be in some other areas. So with rich instruction, you're able to meet multiple levels within a class. So even if you find someone who might be ready for the more challenging text, they can successfully be part of a humanities classroom with students who are still, struggling to get to that point.
I see that point, and look, you're both making it very difficult for me. It's a lot harder to be hard on people you respect. But I guess that at this point, I would encourage you both to think about the child who's reading at a college level in 6th grade, right? And I think we have fantastic English teachers, right? But there is a difference in what a teacher can do in a class, even differentiating well, when there is a huge range of students. And I just would like to see a home for students for whom humanities is their passion. The children who are reading in all their free time, I'd like to see us catch them a little bit before 10th grade as we progress in our planning. I'm going to leave that aside. I have an easy question for you. You mentioned in passing that the African American Studies is a Schreiber-based course at this point and not yet an AP course. I see the implication there, and I've heard you speak before on the fact that this could be an AP course down the line. Can you just expand on that for a little bit for us?
Sure. So the AP African American Studies course is still in a pilot stage, and they have a limited number of schools that can sign up. So at this current point, we were not signed up for that course that we would need to in order to offer that as an AP. Even if we were subscribed to that pilot program, they're not offering the exam yet this year. So this was our opportunity to offer it as a semester course to really build up to what would be, important to meet the needs of our student population and make sure that we were adequately prepared for new curriculum as College Board is kind of refining what they will be testing, what they will be including. So it just gave us a little bit of flexibility.
Thank you, and thank you again for all your hard work. I know that you've put a lot of thought into exactly how to do this, and I'm sure, look, I think one of the things that keeps parents and administrators and teachers awake is all the implications of various decisions and what the impact will be on children. And I think there are some really laudable goals in what you're describing. My concern is the flip side of the messaging and the child who is excelling and has an aptitude and finds their passion in their home in English, maybe starting to think of themselves as not the smart kid because they don't have the same acceleration and honors opportunities that their peers in math or science have. And I'd like to see that rectified. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Brooks, go ahead.
Thank you for indulging me. I appreciate that. I know it's been going on a while, but I just wanted to point out for anybody who's interested that Manhasset offers English honors in 9th grade and advanced social studies in 9th grade. Roslyn offers English and social studies honors in 9th grade. Plainview offers English honors and social studies honors in 9th grade and AP Human Geography. Syosset offers English honors in 9th grade and AP World History in 9th grade. And Garden City offers English honors and social studies honors in 9th grade and AP Human Geography. And that's just a partial list of something that a community member sent to the entire board. So I wonder what is going to change in 9th grade and English and 9th grade social studies in order to be sure that the needs of these students will be met? Is there a curriculum change? Is there a content change? I know that we don't have any real say over, but I'm just wondering, is that what's going to change to address the needs of these students? What will change?
If I could answer this. So first, let me just state there are lots of high-performing school districts that do not offer it in 9th grade, such as Jericho, such as East Williston, and if I had more time, I could probably come up with another list. But that's not the point. I think the point is, I think we have board members who are incredibly vested in great opportunities for kids at all levels. I think one thing we can certainly agree with is that we have an imbalance of courses in math, science, and technology, not just in 9th grade. We have that in PEP. We have that also at the middle school level in some ways. And this is more of a systemic issue and concern. And I think, Dr. Feeney, you said you're working on this book with multiple chapters. And if the board would indulge us to allow us to start and complete those chapters, where we can do that and then answer some of the more pointed questions, that would be really helpful to us. It's loud and clear that we're hearing we need to have more of a balance. And that's something I can tell you we are working on. I'll just leave it at that.
If I promise not to ask about English honors, can I ask a question?
Yes. You can ask an English honors question, too.
I promise not to ask an English honors question. So I was really excited. Thank you for, providing such a, robust set of new courses. I was looking at the business internship senior experience. I wanted to just hear a little bit more about that. Find out, so I run an internship program for graduate students. It's really actually hard to find internships. So I'd just love to hear about what your plan is to, or just at a high level, how we're going to place 10, 15, 20 students into meaningful internships.
This is a full year course, and the fall semester is really building on that base level of knowledge. The prerequisite is completion of one business course, so certainly we'll have people with more experience, less experience, The fall semester, students will work to find other businesses in the community where they could make that connection. And this will certainly be helped by working with the Port Washington Chamber of Commerce and finding connections that way. Through the expansion of the Senior Experience Program this year, we've had a number of businesses reach out, especially through the Chamber of Commerce, saying we'd love to partner with the school. So we'll certainly maximize that experience.
Great. I run a small business in Port Washington, and so you can add my name to the list.
Added.
That's probably a conflict of interest.
Yep, that was Julie, wasn't it?
Okay. So I'm going to defer my own questions. Pretty much I think everything was answered, but I'll echo the sentiments of everybody, and thank you for your hard work on this, and also to you, Dr. Feeney. So with that, you're out of the hot seat.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to committee reports. We'll start with policy and personnel. Ms. Gilliard, back to you.
So we had a meeting, we have another meeting. I didn't look at the calendar because we were on this, but we have a meeting in June on a date that is on the calendar, June 13th, coming up. The important part is that we have two policies on for first read tonight, one on school closings and one on board officers. And when we get to that first reading, I just wanted to highlight for the rest of the board that the committee is in support of the school closing policy completely as written. The board officer policy actually also looks good to us as well, but this does, this is a policy we thought was important that the entire board take a look at and weigh in on and think about whether there is anything that we want to tweak. We did a little bit of work mirroring NISBA's sample policy, but it also does have our little Port Washington twist on it. But it's really a policy that touches upon our internal workings as a board, and so I'm hoping during the discussion of rather than just announcing a first read, that if anybody has any opinions on this policy, we could talk about it for a few minutes.
Ms. Epstein, budget and facilities.
Yes, the Budget and Facilities meeting will be on Monday, May 8th at 9 a.m. in the CAM Annex. We've also been going around and doing budget presentations, as all of the board members know. Do you want me to talk about audit now also?
Please.
Our audit committee meeting was rescheduled to May 19th at 11 a.m. It will be an executive session of the audit committee because we will be reviewing the internal auditor's audit, security audit.
Great. Curriculum, Ms. Malconian.
We have not had a meeting since our last BOE meeting. Our next meeting is Friday, May 19th, and we will be discussing the core extension review.
Okay. Ms. Brooks, Legislative Task Force.
We have not met since the last meeting, which was in March. I've already given that update. Our next meeting is Tuesday, May 30th. And I'll just remind the public that in June, applications will open for the 4 spots that will be, 1 spot's already vacated and the other 3 spots for a new 2-year term. But, you know, I'll make that announcement again next time.
Okay. Emergency preparedness has not met. The next meeting is Monday, May 8th, and those meetings are not open to the public. Moving on to 14, can we please have a motion for the approval of 14.1, which is the April 18th, 2023 BOE meeting minutes, April 5th, 2023 Policy and Personnel Committee meeting minutes, and the April 3rd, 2023 Budget and Facilities meeting minutes. Ms. Brooks, a second. Ms. Bays, all in favor? 7-0. Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. Nobody wanted to pull anything, correct? I didn't hear from anybody? Nope, okay. So I'll make a motion to approve 15.1.1 through 15.6.1. Second, Ms. Bays, all in favor? 7-0. Okay. Moving on to the calendar, did all the trustees get a chance to review the proposed calendar that was posted? Yes? Okay, everybody's okay with it? Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Brooks. No? What's wrong?
Sorry, oops. I just wanted to note that the November meeting was, usually it's the first Tuesday in November, but the first Tuesday in November is again Election Day, as it was, I think, last year, or this past year. And the board was concerned that it was going to infringe on people's ability to either go vote after work and have to choose between the board meeting and voting. So it's currently on the 14th of November, which is a week later.
On this proposed calendar?
Yes, on the proposed calendar.
Ms. Bates? Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve 16.1, which is the 2023-2024 BOE meeting dates. A second. Ms. Brooks, all in favor? 7-0. Okay. Moving on to board policy. Ms. Gilliard, did you want to take this section?
Did you want to do the donations? I think that's what it was.
I'm sorry?
Did you want to highlight any donations?
You're right. I actually totally skipped those. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I don't know if all of the Board of Education members had a chance to look over this policy, but does anybody have any comments or additions or changes that you would make to it?
Ms. Gilliard, can I ask a question? Because I think, are you referring to the board officers one? What were the changes? Because I only see, we don't have the red line version. So what was it? I think you said that you guys, and I know you spent some time talking about it, but I don't remember, honestly.
They're really very small. They were, hold on, I'm pulling it up, but they were really mostly for meaning. You know, we didn't change any of the responsibilities. We changed some of the language to accurately reflect what we thought the law was. For example, on the board president's role in appointing to committees. And there was wording on one other thing. Hold on, I'll pull them up. So under the duties of the president, we changed the wording of number 3, where it says call for a vote. The word call was different. It said something like hold a vote, have a vote. You know,
it was basically semantics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of our changes were to be true to what we believe the legal role was, and to be for clarity. Right. We thought the wording was really unclear. We didn't add or remove any duties that anybody would find controversial.
Anybody else on any of those policies? No? Okay. So I'm going to go back to section 15 because I skipped reading the donations, which are very important. So give me one moment. So we actually have a lot of them on this agenda. So the Board of Education would like to thank the Sousa HSA for their donation for a 5th grade field trip. We would also like to thank the Sousa HSA for a donation for the 3rd grade field trip, and once again, the Sousa HSA for a donation towards the 1st grade field trip. We'd like to thank the Guggenheim HSA for a donation towards the kindergarten field trip, and once again, the Guggenheim HSA for a donation towards the 4th grade field trip. We'd like to thank Parents Council for a donation towards pre-K outdoor materials, the South Salem HSA for the new playground at South Salem, as well as a donation towards a presentation by Angela Dominguez, an author. We'd like to thank the Port Washington Football Booster Club for their donation towards 2 Rogers equipment football sleds. And lastly, we'd like to thank the Pride in Port Committee for their donation towards a new sign for the Whitney Field scorers table. So thank you to all of the donors. Okay, moving on to old business. We don't have any listed here, so we will move right on to new business. Do any trustees have new business items? Ms. Brooks?
Thank you. So a couple weeks ago, I sent an email to the entire board about the NISBA's 2023 Resolutions Toolkit. Every October,
New York State School Boards Association has their annual business meeting where school board members can send a trustee to vote on resolutions that will help guide NISBA in their advocacy efforts with the state and federal legislatures. And so each year before that meeting takes place in October, school board members have the opportunity to submit their own resolutions to NISBA for NISBA school board members to vote on in October. So what I thought I would reach out and ask about, because we've never done this in the past, even though we've had the opportunity to do so, I'm ready. I wrote to ask if anybody on the board, and you don't have to answer today, has a new resolution topic that has not already been listed by NISBA, and it's in their toolkit that I sent to everybody, that you think we as a board should discuss and propose to NISBA. And if we do want to submit a resolution to NISBA, the submission deadline is July 14th. So it may be that nobody has a resolution they want to submit, and that's fine, or that a few people do, or one person, but I'm just putting this out there as new business, that the deadline is within a couple of months, and I wanted to jump on it at the first available opportunity, so. That's fine.
So what we've done in the past, Ms. Brooks, is the NISBA representative, our Board of Education representative that goes to the actual meeting, has come back to the board and said, these are the resolutions that are, so it's actually been the other way around. We have heard from the board member who's been part of it, like for instance, we've been told, this resolution is on, and do we support it or do we want to go against it? I mean, Larry Greenstein, I think if you remember in the past, has come to the board and said.
She's asking if we want to propose them a resolution.
Right, but usually we go through the resolutions that already are on. There's a list of resolutions that have already been chosen.
And
Right?
she's asking if we want to propose one
If
to
we
them
have our own that we want
to get onto that list.
Yes, because those resolutions are there because other and I'm the one who's been at the annual meeting for the past, I think, 3 years, but those resolutions are on there now because other school boards have presented them to NISBA. So I'm simply asking if this school board, again, we don't have to answer now, right, but if there's something that has occurred to a trustee here where you think there would be a resolution that would be appropriate for us to take to NISBA for inclusion for all the school board members out there in New Yorkville to vote on, I'm just raising it as an opportunity for the school board to do so. And of course, when that resolution packet is finalized, whoever is the delegate will certainly come back to this school board if necessary and say, here are all the resolutions, anybody have anything that stands out to them? But this is the first step in the process of getting a resolution on that isn't on already, if that's the desire of anybody on the board.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. I guess if anybody has something now, yeah, Ms. Epstein?
So, because we're mixing it up a little, I would ask a question. Are we considering talking to the legislative task force about this? Because typically the legislative task force establishes some of their priorities based on some of the resolutions because those become the priorities of NISBA. So are you considering, Ms. Brooks, of including them in part of this conversation and maybe having that as a next committee meeting?
I could. We haven't set the priorities for the coming year. The next meeting is the last meeting. It's on May 30th. I could certainly loop them in, but I do think that as a member school board, because we are so aware of all of the issues. I mean, there's so many different issues out there that aren't necessarily covered by the legislative task force. Certainly something I can share with them, of course, why not? But they would have to decide at that meeting because then the school year is over. It's not a continuing conversation until, I guess, September, and by then it's too late. And you know, if they were to, they would have, somebody has to draft the resolution. I mean, there's a process I can try, and maybe somebody has an idea they bring that I can then bring to the board, but their process ends on May 30th.
So what would you propose, Ms. Brooks, since obviously it's 10 o'clock at night and people have to think about it, what would you propose as the next step?
Just to think about it, and you know, we have until July 14th to submit something. So just, I don't know if I would want to impose a deadline, but certainly I would say by the June meeting, we should have some idea if we want to propose a resolution that hasn't already been proposed.
So in the
I mean,
meantime, do you want, should people email you if they think of something?
Sure.
And make a list and discuss it at the following meeting?
Sure.
That work?
It's something that's not already on NISBA's radar.
No obligation,
that we
but if
think-
somebody
No
thinks of
obligation,
something,
I'm
we
just,
can-
it's no obligation, it's just, a thought that could be acted upon if the need arises.
And you had emailed us about this.
I did,
as well, right?
yes.
Okay. Ms. Goodell, go ahead.
First of all, thank you for bringing it to us, because I think it is part and parcel of us trying to be more proactive, which I think we all believe in. I would just add, maybe if any of our administrators have any thoughts on something that should be put on NISBA's radar in this way, that they should let us know as well, and maybe we can discuss it all in the June meeting.
Like that idea a lot, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks, for bringing this up. Okay, anybody else? New business? No? Okay, so we're going to move on to our second opportunity for the community to be heard.
Tessa Jordan.
I had not expected to speak tonight, so you'll have to forgive me if my comments are a little disorganized. This is not to take anything away from any of the people who retired or who received tenure today, but I just wanted to say something about Chris. Certainly all of the adjectives that were spoken during the presentations about Chris are true. When I was involved with the Teachers Association, it was a real pleasure to work with him because we were always able to work in a very collegial way. But I think one of the things that was not mentioned, because it really did not fit in today's presentation, was that Chris is a Port Washington person. Chris's mother taught in Port Washington at Weber for a long time. Chris went to school in Port Washington from K through, I guess, high school. He did, when he started working, go elsewhere, because actually at that point, you really could not get a job as a teacher in Port Washington until you had proved yourself somewhere else for at least 2 years. But then the board, in its wisdom, and I'm not using that word sarcastically, in its wisdom, it brought Chris back. And I think that one of the reasons why he was so successful as first a principal at Salem, a principal at Weber, and now in his present position, was that he is a Port Washington person. He understood the particular ways and attitudes of Port Washington and of Port Washington teachers. Every place, I guess, is funny in its own way. But Chris knew the funniness of Port Washington to start with. Other people who have come from other districts take sometimes a while for them to get it. I think it's very important always to have new ideas, new blood, new thoughts. But it's also important to keep a sense of the history of where you are. And in the boards continuing to hire well-qualified people who started in Port Washington, learned in Port Washington, grew in Port Washington, they do something to contribute to the history of the area, something that we don't want to miss.
Thank you.
Nancy Zisselman.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Zisselman. I'm here to represent Agate as its co-president. At Agate, we believe that the addition of a full 10th grade honors English class will be a great improvement to replace the 10th grade regular English plus English honors project for advanced learners in English. A full year honors level course gives students a chance to engage in the text through deeper discussions with their classmates and teacher and receive fulsome and meaningful feedback on their writing in a way that the English Honors Project could not provide. Students will now be assigned appropriately demanding work throughout the year, thus helping them to grow to their fullest potential. We do remain concerned, however, that the district is not extending the same opportunity for honors level study to the 9th grade as well. By their freshman year, students are more than ready for accelerated work in the humanities, and they can be assessed for preparedness and interest in the 8th grade. We believe that a heterogeneous 9th grade class, after 3 years without acceleration in middle school, will continue to leave advanced students without the appropriate level of coursework. We are certain that there are many students in Port Washington who are in need of and are hungry for deeper study in the humanities and want the opportunity to improve their writing and delve into the text in an appropriately challenging way. You need not look any further than the enrollment numbers in the newly formed 10th grade honors English course to understand this. If you feel that students would not be well prepared for honors level English study in 9th grade, we ask that you consider providing additional enrichment opportunities in the humanities throughout their time at Weber. We note that the district has no issues accelerating math in 7th and science in 8th grade, and we believe that advanced learners in English deserve the same academic opportunities as those who are advanced in STEM, and we continue to hear the message from parents that English enrichment is less valued in Port Washington than math and science. We hope that you will continue to assess whether the needs of advanced humanities students are being met across all grade levels in the district.
Kim Kaiserman.
Good evening. My name is Kim Kaiserman. I came here tonight to back up Nancy Zisselman. I'm a longtime board member of Agate. So I wanted to back up her basic message of saying I commend you for adding the 10th grade honors English. I think it's a great addition, and I ask you to consider adding this great addition at the 9th grade level as well. Listening to the discussion, I was really struck by how, as I'm a parent who's at the end of my time in the district, I have a student who's a junior in college and I have a senior, so I'm almost done. And I've seen this district for a long time, and the level of discussion I'm seeing about the issues that I really care about has been deeper in the past year or so than I've ever seen, and really satisfying to hear. I really want to just commend you for having this discussion. I'm just seeing you delve into the issues that I care about and also acknowledge some things that hadn't been acknowledged before. It's really refreshing to just hear it acknowledged that there is a really significant and remarkable tilt towards STEM in our enrichment and accelerated and honors courses in this district. That's not something that's always been acknowledged. And it's something that I experienced and saw my children experiencing from the beginning of my time in the district, and something that troubled me. It did make me feel that their gifts and talents weren't necessarily being recognized in the way that some other students were. And it troubled me, but it's something I kept to myself and was pretty quiet about until my older daughter went to Schreiber and started that 9th grade honors project, both in English and social studies. And that was an experience that made me feel I had to speak out. It that was really, really significant and that was really leaving her unsatisfied as a student and her, so that's how I became involved in Agate to begin with. And that's how I began to speak out about these issues. So it's just been a real pleasure in the past year, and I give Dr. Baer and Dr. Feeney credit for this, to see these issues being acknowledged and explored. I'm pleased to hear that this is the first chapter. That means a lot. It means that they'll continue to be acknowledged and explored, and I hope that this will lead to the ninth grade honors English and more opportunities in the humanities at the middle school level as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much to everyone who spoke. Dr. Block, did you want to make a motion to recess to executive session?
I'd like to make a motion to recess.
No, I'm teasing.
No, not to executive session. I said a motion to recess.
How about
Motion to adjourn, sorry.
motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor? 7-0. We are adjourned. Our next meetings will be May 16th and June 6th.
May 16th at 10:30 p.m. in the Weber All-Purpose Room, just in case anybody doesn't remember. So
It'll
go
be on
vote
the, it'll
first.
be on the sign outside.
Everybody go vote first.